And so he's coming up with some kind of a rotation scheme. Maybe it's Tom Tillis votes against one of them. Maybe it's Joni Ernst votes against one of them.
That is MSNBC contributor Katty Kay describing incoming Senate Majority Leader John Thune, and this senior Republican plots scheme to derail 4 Trump nominations.
My understanding is that John Thune, the senator from North Dakota, has to think, how can I protect some of my senators? He can't have all the same senators go out and say no against all of the picks. But you don't want always to have the same senator, because that opens them up to too much fury from the MAGA crowd.
And by the way, this would happen all the time in the House, where you know, somebody would say, I cannot vote against 5 of these bills. I'll take these 2, you take those 2, you take that 1, and there is a rotation. So when you go
that
back,
makes sense.
You go back to your district or you go back to your state, go, yeah, I voted against 1 of his elections,
well, and
but I voted for
Trump.
15 of them.
Yeah.
So, incoming Senate Republican Majority Leader John Thune is trying to help his Republican colleagues sink some of Donald Trump's cabinet nominations and do it in a stealthy, politically safe way. It is not exactly transparency here, but the Republican senators, by helping each other, are clearly joining forces to block and undermine Donald Trump. The strategizing comes in the wake of enormous pressure that Trump world recently put on Iowa Senator Joni Ernst. Several days ago, she refused to commit to supporting Pete Hegseth as Secretary of Defense, following accusations that Hegseth raped a woman, repeatedly engaged in extramarital affairs, and is an alcoholic.
All I will say at this time is that we did have a very thorough discussion over a number of those issues, and the vetting will continue, I am certain.
Then, as the Washington Examiner reported, Trump allies drilled down on Joni Ernst and pressure campaign to save Hegseth. The campaign worked because now Ernst says she will support the nomination. But the hardball tactics by Trump have angered several Republican senators, and so they are reportedly scheming with Republican leader Thune. The Trump nominees who appear to be in the crosshairs of Senate Republicans include Hegseth, HHS nominee and conspiracy theorist Robert F. Kennedy Jr., and Tulsi Gabbard, Donald Trump's nominee for Director of National Intelligence. For several years, Gabbard has echoed the wishes of Russian leader Vladimir Putin. A few years ago, during the bloody Syrian civil war, Gabbard traveled to Syria and embraced Putin protege dictator Bashar al-Assad. Now that Assad has been overthrown and the death of his terror is being revealed, Gabbard is sidestepping questions.
What about your relationship with Assad?
Several Republicans in Congress believe that Gabbard is a Russian agent or asset. Nearly 100 former national security officials alarmed at prospect of Gabbard leading intelligence community have written a joint letter opposing her. And several U.S. allies have said they will not share sensitive intelligence with the Trump administration if Gabbard is confirmed. In other words, the opposition to Gabbard and a few other cabinet picks is not limited to the U.S. Senate. But it's the Senate where Republicans are being creative about how to block some of Donald Trump's nominees. For their part, Gabbard and Hegseth have been meeting personally with senators to try and soften some of the opposition. On this day, after meeting with independent-minded Republican Senator Susan Collins of Maine, Pete Hegseth made a not-so-subtle reference to patriotism.
What do you hope to talk to Senator Collins about today?
This is how we're feeling today, right here. Feeling great. Fighting for the country,
Do you
fighting for
feel
our military.
confident that you're going to get to a confirmation process, get to the hearing?
Yes, he really did open his suit jacket to show a U.S. flag lined into the inside. For the record, the only flag emblem that we should seriously care about in a suit jacket is the one that says the suit is made in the USA. Over the past 25 years, hundreds of thousands of U.S. textile employees have lost their jobs because people are buying clothing, including men's suits, from foreign nations instead of from the United States. Now, it may be that Pete Hegseth's suit was made in the USA, but the heavy-handed approach of highlighting the lining of his jacket instead of where it was made underscores that Hegseth and his supporters are all about the show and not about the content. Relatedly, Donald Trump has also engaged in a heavy-handed approach in defense of Hegseth, and not just with U.S. senators. Last week, Newsmax host Greg Kelly spoke out against the Hegseth nomination.
I'll rely on what his own attorney has said, that Pete Hegseth signed a non-disclosure agreement and paid money to a woman who accuses him of sexual assault. I was once accused of sexual assault, falsely. I would never in a billion years pay that person a dime. Pete Hegseth, that doesn't sound like a fighter. That sounds like somebody who's blackmailable.
Soon after that segment, there was this. Will result in termination. Newsmax bans criticism of Pete Hegseth after Trump fumed over host's attack. Quote, soon after the segment, Trump's team got in touch with Newsmax CEO Chris Ruddy to express the president-elect's displeasure with a commentary, multiple sources told Mediaite. 3 sources said Trump also called Ruddy directly to complain about the segment, though Newsmax disputed this. On Friday, Newsmax Chief Operating Officer Elliot Jacobson convened staff at its New York headquarters to issue guidance in what one source described as an aggressive, panicked tone. And said that on-air coverage of Hegseth needed to focus on the positive, the source said. Any issues following this will result in termination, the executive warned. Translation, Donald Trump demands loyalty from conservatives or else. So Newsmax, clearly not a profile in courage, is reportedly bowing down to Donald Trump. And Greg Kelly has been neutered or locked up someplace. We need to start a campaign along the lines of hashtag free Greg Kelly. In any case, this all takes us back to the United States Senate. Donald Trump is threatening Republicans to get in line. Several Republican senators still want some of Trump's nominees to be blocked. So, Senate Republican leader John Thune is working on some creative ways to stop the nominations without exposing any single senator to Donald Trump's wrath. One imagines Donald Trump is infuriated. Plus, Thune and Trump have some history of bad blood. In 2016, John Thune called for Donald Trump to drop out of the presidential race in the wake of the Access Hollywood grabbed them by the comment. In 2021, Thune condemned Trump's actions related to the January 6th Capitol riot as indefensible. In 2022, Donald Trump tried to get South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem to mount a primary challenge against Thune, although she declined, and Thune cruised to re-election victory. Then in 2023, Thune endorsed Republican Senator Tim Scott for the Republican presidential nomination. When it became clear that Trump would be the 2024 nominee, Thune sought to mend fences. And over the past 6 months, Thune says he has spoken repeatedly with Donald Trump. Well, to be a fly on the wall of any Trump-Thune conversations now. Because if Thune's scheme is successful, a few more of Donald Trump's cabinet nominations are going to fail, kind of like Matt Gaetz did. Kudos to BBC special correspondent and MSNBC contributor Katty Kay for her intriguing reporting. The GOP Senate conspiracy to thwart some of Donald Trump's controversial cabinet nominees is remarkable, and it underscores that at least a few Republicans in the Senate are not going to be a Trump rubber stamp, even if their opposition to Trump has to fly under the radar. By the way, the president of the Teamsters Union is putting some pressure of his own on Donald Trump.
What do you want to see out of Donald Trump?
Well, I want to see what not only Donald Trump was saying, but a lot of the Republicans. You know, we've got good working relationship with Senator Hawley. Right. We've got good working relationship with Senator Marshall, and many others. We want to make certain that what they're saying and what they do is going to be consistent. They want to work with labor. They want to work with the American people, American workers. And, you know, we want results, not excuses. And look, the great part about this whole process is we got 4 more years. If people don't, on either side, live up to their promises and or fix their problems, we got 4 years to build a machine to get the right people in there to make the right decisions on working people.
Check out that video at the link below. It generated a lot of comments on YouTube. One of the most popular is some username who writes, the genius move would have been not voting for Trump. I hear you. I look forward to reading your comments about Donald Trump getting derailed by a Senate Republican scheme. I'm David Shuster. Thanks for joining us.